Hello, I am Kevin Zunich. Like you, I manage, own, operate a few businesses, and my businesses use different kinds of techniques for the credit card processing. So there's online, there's virtual terminals, there's pay links, you got the hand swipe terminal. I'm gonna run through in this video how you can get back money from your credit card processor. That's what this is all about. It's all about money back credit card processing. For my businesses, I've been using this now for over 3 years, and it works great. You don't have time to watch this video now, come back to it, but I'm gonna explain a lot of different things. There's some people that aren't familiar with credit card processing, or they get all kind of freaked out about it because it's a lot of information, but it's really not that intimidating. It's not much to understand once you kind of get the gist of it. We're gonna dive into this video. I work with a company that's here, founded in Central California in San Luis Obispo, called Commission Buddies. They're fantastic to work with, easy to work with. First thing is, no matter who you're using for your credit card processing, they are making a fee, right? They're not gonna do this for free. Just like a big part of my business is shoes. I sell shoes. Well, I buy a shoe for a certain price, I mark it up, I sell it, and then that part that we mark up is what we use to pay for all of our expenses, payroll, etc. It's kind of the same thing with credit card processing. It's still a product, it's still being marked up, and your processor is taking that, what we call the spread. The spread is there as they adjust the rate. That means they're just making less or making more. You can get back half of what your credit card processor makes if you're using Commission Buddies. Let's take a look at the different kinds, right? You have hand swipe terminals, you have pay links, you have POS systems, virtual terminals. The list is long. There's a lot of electronic credit card processing. You use PayPal, there's Venmo, Square. They're all in it to make money, but are any of them giving you back money? Commission Buddies is literally gonna take money that they make and say, here we made $10. We're gonna give $5 of it to the merchant and we'll keep 5 for ourselves. So they're paying you back half. Let's look at that for a sec. 80-20 rule, okay? Pretty standard. These numbers are definitely fair. This is definitely realistic, especially for my business. There's a lot of businesses that are smaller than mine. There's a lot of them that are bigger than mine. But what it comes down to, it's about give or take 8, 10, 12%. If you're paying out $1,000 for credit card processing every month, so on the 7th of May, you have $1,000 come out of your account, which was from April, right? It was the prior month. Your credit card processor is probably making, give or take, about $200. The other $800 goes out to the industry. It goes to banks that issue credit cards, interchange fees, bank fees, etc. Most credit card processors keep your rate, they adjust things, they have fees, they're in it to make money. For me, when I started using Commission Buddies, that $1,000 actually shrank because there was fees that just, they weren't charging me anymore. So even though they come in, what they do is they match your rate. The rate never goes up. It's month to month. So you never have to worry about a contract. If you want to bail, you can bail, but why would you bail when you're doing so well and making money? I've been using it for over 3 years and I love it. So the numbers on the 80-20 in my example, you can see this is a realistic example. Okay? It's not going to be this way every single time. I mean, you could be processing just high volume, or you could be a little guy doing little volume. In the end, that company you're using is making money and you can get half back. Well, how do you get half back? Well, Commission Buddies has an account for you. You have your own Commission Buddies account. They take that half that they give back as a commission to the merchant. It's the credit card processor that pays you, the merchant. You might be a controller, an office manager. You'll be a hero in your office when your company is getting back this money. I have watched people, businesses that start using Commission Buddies, that after 8 months, they get a check back for like $19,000. And all of a sudden they're like, whoa. And whoever brought this to the attention of the owners is sitting pretty good. Again, that 80-20 rule, we're saying $1,000 comes out, 800 goes to the industry, processor's making 200. Right now you're getting none of that 200, just nothing. Commission Buddies is gonna take 100 of that, put it in your Commission Buddies account. For example, just recently, I hit the cash out button. There's literally a cash out button. You log in, you hit cash out. I was mailed a check. It was just under $1,100, and that was for 6 months of processing. Plus, the amount that goes out every month is less because there's fees they're not charging me. I was with a credit card processor for 9 years. They never gave me back anything. Commission Buddies in 3 years has already paid me back thousands of dollars. So I want to highlight a couple things. Again, there's no contract, so it's month to month. You get paid every month if you want, or you can let it build up and then cash out. It'll work with many POS systems. You have great customer service support. There's a person that my staff can contact almost 24/7 at any time through email or text, or call them up and get the support. So the service is great, and I really would encourage you to take a look at this. I am here to help you if you want it. All my businesses use Commission Buddies, and I'm really excited about it. A lot of people, sometimes they get real, like, oh, I don't want to talk about credit card processing, such a pain in the butt to like sign up and do all that stuff, and I feel like I'm getting ripped off and everything like that. If you haven't switched in a while, I am just telling you, the sign up process is easy. There's so much technology now. You basically go online, you fill out a thing, they look at a copy of your check so they have the right account number. They do some credit card test transactions. I mean, the process of getting set up is really really easy. And if you need a hand swipe terminal in your shop, a lot of times Commission Buddies just gives it to you. They program it, they bring it to you. I literally unplugged my credit card hand swipe terminal 10 days before Christmas. The volume was growing, and I'm like, I'm not gonna wait. Some people are like, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't switch right now because, there's a lot going on. Wrong. You wanna think of it the other way. The other way is there's a lot of volume going on right now. I wanna capitalize on this. So I unplugged my terminal right in mid-December. This was 3 years ago, and plugged in the new one and never looked back. And everything's been great since, and I capitalized on some really good volume for that right out of the gate. So signing up is not hard. Another thing I wanna talk about is basically kind of a newer thing. If you go back 5-10 years, you don't see it so much, but as we're transitioning forward, so all you merchants, listen to this, okay? Non-cash adjustment is kind of slowly just taking over, and I'll explain what that is here in a second. But it's definitely something to take a look at because it literally can put a lot of money right back in your pocket. And so what I'll say to you, just to explain what non-cash adjustment is in a nutshell, is that most of the time, for all these years, us merchants, every month we go to our bookkeeping and we're like, oh, well, this $1,200 just came out of my bank account for credit card processing fees. Well, what if that just stopped? What if you just didn't have any more credit card processing fees? And it's because your customers are paying those fees now. I'm sure every one of you watching this, if you just go back a week or a month or two, you can think of a time when you paid those fees. I was at a restaurant recently in my hometown, and when I went to use my credit card, because I don't carry a lot of cash, I'm like, yeah, I paid a credit card. It's a normal thing, right? And they're like, oh, well, we charge a fee. And I'm like, go for it. That's fine with me because I'm either getting Sky Miles or 2% cash back or whatever it is. So I'm like, here. So I paid some like $4, $5 fee or whatever, and I really wasn't worried about it. I'm not saying that I want to pay it if I don't have to, but the reality is that businesses are starting to have their customers pay that fee. For me, I could probably, if I switch one of my businesses, one of my store locations to non-cash adjustment, it would literally save me that 15 grand in credit card discount fees. Now, I'm getting some of that back from Commission Buddy, but I could pass those charges off onto my customers. So when do I do it? It's a battle. I'm like, gosh, should I do it? Should I not do it? Well, everybody else is starting to do it, and I'm a consumer. I go into a store and they start charging me the fee. I'm starting to think, well, maybe at my business, I need to pass that off to the customer. It's something that you could ask me about. I'll explain it to you more. But the bottom line is, check this out. Super cool. Ready? Like neon lights flashing here. You could go from paying, in my example, I could go from paying $15,000 out a year in credit card discount fees. That's $75,000 in 5 years that my business would have back that I don't have right now. Not only that, but Commission Buddies is going to pay me because they're making money on the fact that I'm still running those fees. It's just the customer's paying for it. So now I'm actually going from me paying out to me having an income. So literally, this is true. This is a true story. I have a client and I'm working with her to help her get set up. She has not actually offered credit cards at her business yet. It's cash and check. She wants to take credit cards. Right out of the gate, she's going to use non-cash adjustment. What's going to happen? Well, she's still not going to pay any credit card processing fees, but she is going to accept credit cards. Her customers are going to pay the fee. They come in to pay $50 for some service and they're going to pay that little fee and they don't care. They're like, here, go ahead, fine. So then she is now going to have an income as a merchant from Commission Buddies, an income that she never had before. She's going to have this income and she's providing this service to her customers so they can use a credit card. She's not paying out any fees and she's actually got money coming in. That's the whole thing about non-cash adjustment. I'm happy to explain it more in detail if you like. You can contact me anytime. But even if you're doing more traditional, like one of my stores where it's a hand swipe terminal and tap or insert the card, that right there is still getting me back half of what my processor is making. So in my example, I'm using that 80-20 rule because that's a very common average. On 1,000 going out, processors sending 800 out to the industry. 800 goes out to interchange fees, banks issue credit cards, etc., to the credit card world, and then 200 is made by the processor. In this case, it's Commission Buddies, and they kick me back $100 a month on that example. Volume goes up and down, so the amount I'm getting back goes up and down. You can see my commission check right now on the screen from June of 2019. There's an example right there that was basically commission from the month before. When the month starts is when your processing goes out. So at the end of that month, they're calculating from the prior month. That commission check is an example. You can actually call it personal income, or if you want to credit those fees, that income, you credit that back to your credit card processing in your QuickBooks or however you do your bookkeeping. You could do it that way too. Again, if you had 4,000 credit card processing fees for the year, but you got paid 1,000, you could throw that 1,000 towards that. Then your credit card expense for the year is only 3,000, or you could just claim it as personal income. It's up to you. I'm happy to help. Anybody wants further discussion, please contact me. I never really set out to be a credit card guru thing. I know there's things I don't know. The team of people I work with are great. It's been an epic journey, really. It's really helped me, and I know I can help you too, or at least we can explore. It doesn't cost anything to get a proposal from commission bureaus. They can look at what you're doing and say, hey, this is what we can do for you. And if you don't like it, you can be like, hey, that's cool, thanks. I'll just file it away and wait till later. But some people go in, they get this proposal, and then they call up their credit card processor and say, hey, these guys are willing to do this for me. What are you gonna do? And you put them on the hot seat, and they're like, oh, okay, well, so they lower your rate. So then you feel like, oh, I just made money today. This is great. It just totally helped me. And then they just sit there and they raise your rate back up. So basically, in the end, you're not really making anything, and you're not making what you should, what you could, because all that money that comes in can help you help your customers. You can then pay your employees more. So there's so many good things that come out of having that commission come back to you. Commission Buddies is the credit card processor that pays you, and you ought to check it out. Thanks for listening. Got my information on the screen. I'm here for you any way I can help you. Okay? Thanks a lot.